to Shooting Womp Rats, your source for D6 information in a time and space where nothing else is printed. I'm your host, Daniel, and with me, of course, as always,
this is Don.
Don's testing out his jazz radio.
Smooth jazz.
All the time.
24/7.
Well, all that out of the way, let's start off naturally with the news. Don's posts.
This week, Adventure Monday was kind of interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to maybe even trying this one out. The type of mission is going to be to scout enemy territory. Terrain is going to be jungle, swamp, or marsh. Complication is going to be something to do with the decaying orbit. The opposition will be Imperial Army troopers, and the special hazard is none.
Now, what I did with this one was the adventure I planned out of it was the Separatists have a research facility on this jungle moon, and this moon's orbit is decaying. The players have to get on the moon and get through a battalion of battle droids that are guarding this place, get the information, and get out before this moon's orbit goes bye-bye.
Can they fix the moon's orbit?
See? Anything's possible when it comes to D6.
Yeah, throw out a couple of Jedi, seeing it's during the Rise of the Empire period, for, size matters not. Fix the moon. Fix it, Jedi.
Moving on.
Yeah, we have a Random Adventure 13 was posted this week. I really liked it. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of the details. Take a look at it. Let us know what you think. The character Tuesday was Plock Jenda, a starship designer extraordinaire wanted by the Empire and the Alliance.
Now, this guy's pretty good if he's wanted by both of them.
I don't have a lot of the background worked out on it quite yet. I just wanted to kind of play around with a little bit of the engineering specialties and stuff of that nature. So it was sort of I'm not really sure how much of a good character it would be to play, but it makes for a really good NPC.
Yeah.
And let's see, moving on, we have Rumor Wednesday that Lord Vader is creating force-sensing biological creatures to track anyone with force ability.
This is a nice one.
I figure if you can have they're called, Wylissia or Wylessa or whatever, the force-pushing tree sloths.
Oh, the Salamiri.
Yeah, those things. I mean, if you have creatures that can, push the force away, why can't you have creatures that sense the force?
Well, yeah, the Salamiri's natural predator is the Vornsker. It actually uses the force to track prey.
Ah, that's right. I completely forgot about that. See, people, this morning, Don is working through a fog of sleep, seeing as he slept like crapola last night, and hence the reason his voice is a little bit like jazz today. So I am not firing on all cylinders, people, so you'll have to cut me just a touch of slack.
Well, it's no big deal. We still love you, and I think the rumor still works because Vader just about went crazy with scientific experiments, especially when it came to hunting Jedi.
Well, I kind of look at Vader, at least in the retcon version of the Rise of the Empire. Lord Vader seems to be beyond obsessed with his anger towards the Jedi and tracking them. So, whatever means is available to him, I definitely see him latching onto those.
I know we're going off topic with this, but I've been reading some of the comics, and I've been reading through this Ghost Prison series of comics, and that was a prime example right there of Anakin's anger toward the Jedi, because he went and captured all these big-time Separatist enemies, and the Jedi hid them. When he plays back the Jedi record of Anakin asking them, they just blow him off. They won't tell him. And Vader explodes at this, because he knows that the Jedi hid them. And it was just yet another reason why, Vader has this hate on for Jedi.
A hate on. I like that. Hate on. Oh. Moving on to Planet Thursday. This will be...
Oops.
Okay. Moving on to Planet Thursday, we have Thaka this week. It's a mid-rim world with a unique history. Once a penal colony that would later develop a feudalistic society, it is a cheap place to manufacture goods for the Empire. Home to nearly 10 million sentients, it is a seething hotbed of anger towards the Empire for its exploitation.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I could actually plan a campaign around something like that. I like that.
Yep, and what's kind of nice about that is, you can actually do it as a low tech. You can do it pretty much, however you want to do it. I like the planet. The write-up's pretty solid. So, Daniel, what'd you have this week for your character of the week?
This character of the week is Master Evan Piel. And he's a little unusual when you first see him, because a lot of people try to say he's somehow related to Yoda because of the way he looks. It's not true. He's a Lannic. Lannics actually have, as their special ability, is a resistance to fear. Master Piel's biggest claim to history was that he was captured by the Separatists after he discovered the Nexus hyperspace route that they were using to some degree of success against the Republic. Naturally, the Jedi Council send Anakin and his Padawan, Ahsoka, to rescue him. They managed to rescue him, but during the attempt, Piel was mortally wounded by a pack creature from Tatooine. And he eventually succumbs to his wound, but not before passing on the information about the Nexus hyperspace route to Ahsoka.
Nicely done. I think he looks kind of like a really ugly Pikachu. Big old floppy ears and stuff.
But enough about us.
Yes.
Let's belly up to the Ronto buffet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still early for me. I just got up. I don't even feel like eating. Do I have to eat?
Breakfast, man. Breakfast is it's the meal of champions. Adrian BK is working on the Force cards still. He's finished the text on 64 of them. Now, a quote from him is that, now I just have to insert all the information into the card template and source some images. Version 1 will have 61 Force powers, and I'll expand as I can. Give me a couple of weeks, and they'll be up.
Yay! Those would be great for, face-to-face games.
Exactly. I can't wait to get a hold of some card stock and print these puppies out.
I'm going to do the same thing, but I don't know if I'm going to do them on cardstock. I think I'm just going to put them on, some heavyweight paper and print out the fronts and backs and just put them in card sleeves.
Matthew Bonzagni on Facebook has an interesting idea for Bothan characters. Give them access to the Bothan Spynet. A quote from him: "So I have this cool idea for Bothan characters. I want them to be able to access the Bothan Spynet to get information, but not sure how the mechanics would work for that. Anyone have any cool ideas?" My idea is to make it a specialization on Streetwise.
So make it a contact.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that idea. Is there a way to develop contacts or stuff of that nature that's not is tied to other skills, or just a general skill you can use for that?
You know, that's a good question. I would base it upon. Well, let's take for example, you've got a connection with uh, a police officer on a planet somewhere, and I would say that would be an investigation type of thing. I can call this person up, or maybe developing a new skill centered around that.
How about, well, yeah, you could actually make a new skill based on it, or you can make it perhaps even a special ability, or sorry, what is it called? Story. Oh, what's it called when it's not something that relates to a species background? It's not a special ability. It's
Story factor?
I think that, yeah, that's it. Story factor. Couldn't you come up with something for story factor that the game master could add based upon a character's background or play, called, contact, and then whatever the type is, and then apply a difficulty of how hard it is to contact them?
I like the idea. If we have to really sit back and develop it.
There you go. You tweaked my interest now. I'm on it.
Exactly. Next week's episode, we're gonna hammer this one out and give you some further information on it.
Mike Fraley's off until college starts up. There you go. Maybe he'll get involved.
Mike, we gotta have him back on.
I don't mind. He's a funny fella.
So you were talking about this Dark Times source book that actually has something to do with the comic series. Now, I've gotten a chance to read this comic series, and I think it's awesome.
It is really good, and it has a unique band of main characters that I really enjoy. Now, what is known as right now is the Star Wars Dark Times source book, and that's not to be confused with James Spawn's source book. In fact, mine I put like in brackets at the end of it, Dark Horse Comics. This one involves the information from the Dark Horse Comics run of Star Wars Dark Times. It's currently weighing in at 65 pages of notes. I still need to finish up my notes for the storylines Out of the Wilderness, Fire Carrier, and The Spark Remains. Then go back, take notes on notes on the side story about the escaped younglings from issues 6 through 10, which is called Parallels. And then I need to go off and start making stat blocks. So I would say I'm about halfway through taking notes. I'm guesstimating Sourcebook's going to weigh in at about 160 pages or more. And maybe it'll be done late January, early February. And for those people who are familiar with the comic book, I think I'm going to skip the whole Star Wars crossover vector, and if I do decide to do that, to give it its own source book.
Awesome. The whole fact that they add in, this wicked Jedi Master for the younglings, I think is really cool. And, Master Kruk, I guess you'd have to pronounce it. And the things that he does, I mean, it even looks like he gives himself a little bit over to the dark side at one time to defend them from a band of pirates.
The one thing I did really like about the Parallels storyline was that he ended up calling upon two Imperial captains. I mean, these guys were established enough in the New Order to actually be captains on a planet, lieutenants or whatever it was. The other one was the captain of a Star Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
And so these are well-established people in the New Order, and he's able to call upon old loyalties. And these people actually just kind of pony up and go, well, I can't